is Danielle Cho, and I am the Scope PHA Outreach Director for the 2024-2025 school year. Today, I am joined by the lovely Grace Swenson, a rising second year majoring in PHA who was on the health tech team in her first year of Scope PHA. Grace, it's lovely to have you here.
Great to be here, Danielle. Thank you for having me.
As a first year student, you joined Scope PHA. How did you learn about Scope in the first place, and what motivated you to join?
So when I was in the summer before entering my freshman year, I was looking through UCLA's club catalog of specifically medical organizations, and so I wanted something that would give me novel experiences that I couldn't find myself or exactly enter through myself. And so I was fortunate enough to have my departmental advisor send me a newsletter that contained Scope PHA's advertisement. And so after reading through that, I was really intrigued by Scope's focus on upstream care, which essentially targets, as you well know, it targets more social determinants of health that aren't necessarily addressed in clinic. And so that's something we, even as undergraduate students, can really hone in on and pinpoint and really interact with patients with, even though we aren't qualified to give any other care. And so I found that really interesting and intriguing, and so I wanted to apply.
Dang, that's so cool. Thanks for sharing that, Grace. Before you learned about Scope and upstreamism, did you have any interest in public health, like before you joined college?
I think I sort of dipped my foot into like the overall sphere of public health when I was a certified nursing assistant. And so I essentially worked in both a nursing facility and an assisted living facility as a CNA. And so that really exposed me to the field of geriatric care and how often that demographic of older adults tends to go overlooked by a lot of physicians, and that demographic is not as cared about in the entire realm of medicine. And so I think advocating for that age group specifically in their needs and their health is just as important as younger adults and children, in whatever age group. And so I think that's something I became passionate about in high school, and so entering fully into public health through Scope has only broadened that passion, I think.
Wow, that's so cool. So kind of building off of what you mentioned, because you were interested in this kind of geriatric side of medicine. How do you see Scope kind of fitting into that, or do you see, like, has your experience in Scope in any way kind of shaped what you want to do in the future, or modified it in any way?
I think I'm still pretty set on what I want to do in the future, and that's kind of relating to surgery and not so much as like a public health figure. But I really do appreciate the soft skills and the tact that Scope PHA has sort of taught and ingrained into me, because I think one of the most important tips I learned through fall class and just through the executive leaders at Scope is you're not exactly just trying to do a quick fix when you talk with patients. You are trying to meet them where they are with their own goals. And so whatever preconceptions you have, whatever things you think are best for the patient may not be what they actually want for themselves. And so I think that lesson is what I'll carry with me way into the future, and it's applicable beyond just public health or Scope, which are both important. So.
Wow, that's a really good point, Grace. Yeah, I also really resonate with that, because I think that being in Scope has also taught me a lot of soft skills and a lot about medicine as a way for us to kind of establish lasting bonds, like throughout time, and follow up with patients, and also to kind of, as you said, like make sure that we're actually motivating the patients to take charge of their own health care and to give them the lasting skills they need to establish that. So that's a really good point. You said that you are interested in surgery, so I wanted to ask you, like, when did you get interested in surgery initially, and yeah, what kind of surgery would you be interested in going into?
I think like in elementary school when like your teachers kind of usher you into choosing a profession, I chose like doctor. But then as I've kind of navigated my way through actual education in high school and early college, I found that I really like working with my hands and like staying on my feet and always entering like new situations. And so I think surgery requires the level of precision and stamina and complexity that I'm looking for in a profession. And so I think my interest in that environment really meshes pretty well. And so my current fixation is cardiac surgery.
Dang.
Because it's just like an engine. It's like the engine of the body, and so I think it's just fascinating. It's the center of everything, and I think there's something like poetic about fixing broken hearts. So that's my current interest, but it may change. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. But
Wow, that is so cool. Oh my gosh, I can totally see you. Wait, and you're so cool under pressure, so it fits your vibe as well. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So what other clubs or organizations are you a part of on campus, Grace?
So I'm part of a cardiac wet lab and an art therapy centered dry lab. And so those two take up quite a bit of time, but also I'm a part of this organization called Brain Exercise Initiative, which essentially works with senior residents in nursing homes, and we run through brain exercises to keep their cognition levels where they should be, and to kind of alleviate the effects of Alzheimer's and early onset dementia. And so that's been really fun for me. And then I'm a part of an organization called HEART, which essentially implements, again, the arts and art therapy to alleviate chronic stress, both for students who are in UCLA and for individuals in the greater Los Angeles area. And so we're currently trying to expand our resources and our outreach, and so that'll be really fun for this upcoming year. And then for fun, I'm a part of Bruin Beekeepers, and so that's like something I've never really delved into before, but it seems super fun, and it's never something I'll be able to do again for free and in a place like this, and so that's been awesome.
Wait, so true. Oh my gosh. Wait, that is so cool to hear about, because there's like so many different cool like medical oriented clubs that you're a part of. But it's also, of course, nice to have like a fun club. And you're right, like the approach to college is try things that you won't be able to do once you're out of college. I totally agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah. That was my freshman year philosophy for sure.
Nice.
It was like try everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, like, so how did you first get interested in geriatrics? Like in high school, you mentioned that you were.
So it was during the prime COVID year, so 2020 through 2021, that everything kind of went on pause. But I knew that I wanted to get patient experience somehow, because I knew I was interested in medicine, but I didn't really know like what it meant to work with other people and to care for them. And so fortunately my high school offered a program that allowed students to become certified as CNAs, nursing assistants. And so I signed up to join that program, and so by getting certified, then we had to work in a nursing facility for a little bit just to get a certain hour requirement. And so just by dipping my toe in that, I realized that it was really something I could build off of, and I found a meaningful connection between myself and the residents I worked with. And so that was kind of first how I got acclimated to working with geriatrics.
Nice. That is very cool. Because what you mentioned earlier about how like a lot of times like care for older individuals is overlooked. I feel like we see that a lot in clinic. Like sometimes older patients come in and then these patients are more at risk for like fall risk, or they can't keep track of their medications, or they have like, you know, something gets hurt but they can't really check because they're like living alone, different issues like that. And so yeah, I thought it was really cool that you mentioned geriatrics as one of your interests. And as well, you mentioned that you are now kind of more interested in like cardiac surgery, that kind of realm. So what kind of motivated your interest in like that area? Like, was there a particular thing that you experienced that shifted your focus or piqued your interest in that area?
I think just by studying the different organ systems in class, I was drawn to the heart and the circulatory system most often. But also my grandfather suffered a stroke and he's had heart problems his entire life. And so I was always just close to that environment. And so I think that has kind of steered me into the direction of cardiac surgery. But it also kind of meshes with geriatric care because cardiovascular disease is very prevalent among Americans. And as you age, you're more likely to experience the condition. And so I think cardiology and gerontology go hand in hand together. And so I think making improvements and advancements in one field can only help the other. And so, yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
I know you said you're not like for sure, like in a box, like you know you're gonna do this for sure, but it is so cool to see that like you kind of have this kind of realm of interest that interests you, and yeah, it's just amazing to see.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see if things change. But,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I can't wait to see like what you end up doing, Grace, and yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And then finally, for our fun question, if you were to bring anything to a deserted island, what would it be?
Okay, so is this like a naked and afraid situation? Like, I have like I have like nothing.
Nothing.
I have nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, then I would say shoes. Like I would bring,
so valid.
I would bring shoes because I can't. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything with like splinters or like if I just can't walk around. So as basic as the answer probably is, I'd say shoes.
Yes. Okay.
Shoes.
Okay. Say it was not a naked and afraid situation.
It was not a naked and afraid
You have
situation.
the basic necessities. What would you bring?
Okay. I would bring an army survival manual
Oh, okay.
because I feel like if I freak out on the island at all, like at least I have something to tether me and to like give me step-by-step instructions. Kind of like a lab protocol,
Okay.
if you will. So like if I just have no idea what I'm doing, then I have like tips and like the author's voice will kind of give me that human connection and like I have resources. So
Wait, that is
Yeah.
such a smart choice. Oh my gosh. Okay.
boring. But yeah. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah. Yep.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Grace. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you, Danielle.